There are all kinds of legends here, each one of them with their own story. But there is one thing they all have in common. They all drive us to find our greatness. Greatness is not something you were born with, nor is it reserved for a few. Greatness is, in any case, a choice. It begins with a dream and transcends languages, generations, and borders. It comes from a team united in body, mind, and spirit. Because by joining forces, the extraordinary can be achieved. True greatness forges a legacy that inspires others to dream more and become more, creating a better world for those who will come next. Legends inspire greatness in others. Let's be legends.
En Banorte sabemos que en equipo somos más fuertes.
Abre tu cuenta Enlace Personal, Enlace Digital o Mujer Banorte sin costo. Manéjala desde tu celular con Banorte Móvil. Y con ella tendrás acceso a todos nuestros canales. Solicítala ya en tu sucursal o en banorte.com.
Banorte está donde tú lo necesitas.
Conoce la nueva tarjeta de crédito Selección Nacional. Llévate la playera de la Selección Nacional utilizando tu tarjeta. Recompensas con artículos oficiales y experiencias. 6 meses sin intereses en tus compras y más. Solicítala en tu sucursal, Banorte Móvil o banorte.com.
Bienvenido al equipo Banorte.
A todos nos gusta que nos valoren. No importa si es a través de un gesto o puntos para comprar, certificados de regalo, artículos gratis y viajes.
Con tus tarjetas de crédito Banorte, tus decisiones tienen más beneficios. Disfruta del programa de lealtad más completo. ¿Y tú, qué tarjeta de crédito Banorte necesitas?
Lo que quiero me lo compro en el Hot Sale. Si me olvido no importa, luego llega el Buen Fin. O me lo regalo en diciembre, de mí para mí.
Con tus tarjetas de crédito Banorte, tus decisiones tienen más beneficios. Un mundo de promociones todo el año. ¿Y tú, qué tarjeta de crédito Banorte necesitas?
Qué placer viajar con ventajas. Esperar tu vuelo súper cómodo y luego abordar sintiéndote muy especial. Acumular recuerdos, sonrisas y millas.
Con tu tarjeta de crédito Banorte United, tus decisiones tienen más beneficios. ¿Y tú, qué tarjeta de crédito Banorte necesitas?
We have a new leader right now.
Well, a very good afternoon and welcome for our sole 5-star class of the day. and it is a Table C. We're going to see a total of 35 in this class. Table C, what does that mean? It means seconds added to the time. So if they have a fence down, 4 seconds added for this class. So it's about speed. We're also going to see quite a few of those, I think, that are coming in for preparation for the Grand Prix later. They're going to take a good run around here. We'll see how they get on. And they could well get a double bubble of getting, well, a good class here and later on in the week. But some very good combinations coming up for you. Starting with Columbia, that is one that is always very capable of going faster. Lifted several trophies down in Wellington this year and since too. By Bacardi VDL is Gigi Carmen. And it's John Perez who is riding, and John on this 11-year-old one that likes to go first, get a good round in, and let the rest catch him. So John could have come to the top of the order for this, for our first to go for Columbia, who's also been a very good producer of young horses over the years, including here in La Silla. Course designer here this week, Gregory Baudot of France, and as you'd expect with a Table C class, those are familiar with this format, lots of twists and turns and chances to get the engine running here. And Hannah Robson alongside me. John is very capable of just stealing this class from the front.
Yes, we've seen in a couple of competitions that we've had both last week and earlier on this week that sometimes these early draws can actually be really of benefit because you don't sort of get impacted by what you've seen other people do. And John is a rider who's naturally very quick. Gigi Carmen is a horse that he's had some very good results with recently. He also jumped at the winning round competition at our Vancouver leg, which again is of course another competition where speed can be absolutely crucial. Also done well there in a 5-star speed class as well, and he's performed well at these Mexican shows in the past as well.
Yeah, looking good so far. Got a good head of steam up over the stile there for the Pinata fence. So now into the Major League double here. Again, there's going to be a turn back here. They've got the Swedish Oxer, or St Andrew's Cross, however you want to call it, but basically they're one end higher than the other, but you don't want to be straight to that because it's not too much of a difference, but at the end is definitely higher, so I encourage you for a straight shot in there, or if you want to chance it on a little bit of an angle. Into the La Silla double here, and then that will take you down to the last. There we go, and starting as we expected with a good round, going clear at 72.23, so nothing to add to their time there for John Perez and Gigi Carmen. Easily enough round there. As I say, that's St Andrew's Cross fence. Last fence there, sitting as a vertical. Again, if you get too much of a head of steam down to that final fence, it might just catch you. We will see. Mike Wazowski with Nicholas Pizarro in the plate. The Mexican rider with Zone and Bertha Laval's 10-year-old by Belou de Reventon. Those now certainly got the look of Belou de Reventon as well. The horse that was ridden, Brian Mowgray rode the horse to an Aachen Nations Cup win, 5-star Grand Prix wins previously to that with Derek Kenny. That was the father of this horse. It's the next generation, and being 10 years of age is just coming into its perfect prime. Seen this horse quite a few times now, very impressive. Again, I think he's going to have an eye on the Grand Prix with this horse as well, but will be really nice to see what they can do here. The island sends you around there, around that Hummingbird set of fences.
Yeah, he might well have an eye on the Grand Prix here this week. He didn't compete in the 5-star Grand Prix with this horse last week. However, he did jump on the team competition for the Crusaders, jumped a really nice clear there. It was actually the 3rd fastest clear that we had across all riders in the team competition as well.
Yeah, Nick at a nice steady pace so far, as I say. I think he's going to have an eye on the Grand Prix later on this week, but lovely to see this horse in action. It's one we've seen throughout the year, just getting better and better over those big tracks. I saw a little bit earlier on John coming down one of those lines on 5. He was down there on the 6. So John just taking a little bit of ground out of the course as well, and see he gets a nice smooth turn back here to the Vector fence. One of our sponsors here this week. This is sponsored by Afflux, this current class. So just down the 6 down to the finish. No time allowed, of course, being a table C. 77.96, they have to be round in the time limit of 120. 77.96 for Nick Pizarro and Mike Wazowski. Nothing to add there, but 5 seconds adrift of John Perez. Tanimaro Makari and Tanimaro with Cordelia GPZ. The 10-year-old Belgian combination here. That's the mare by Sweetheart Van Ed Boldeshov. That goes back to the line of Heartbreaker. That's out of Sweetheart by Sierra. Now with Tanimara, the Mexican rider, young Mexican rider based up in Florida. Newer rider, I think, for her.
Yes, absolutely. One that she's been competing internationally since October of this year. And it's been going really well for her, actually. She jumped in the 1m45 5-star class last week with this horse and was second with a really nice double clear. Gets a little bit close, though, into the B element, I think. Just found, following their jump over the A element, found that distance a bit tricky. But she's been in the top 10 with this horse 4 times already, despite it only being a relatively new partnership.
Yeah. Yeah, now, as I say, got into a bit of trouble there into the double now. Back, loops back, it just loses time under a table C class. You can see it says 4, but it'll be 4 seconds to add to their time. But again, this is about getting ring time for this pairing together as well for Tanimara. Young rider who also another is that went well through the youth championships that have been up in Traverse City for the last few seasons.
Nice to see her also taking a slot on the Crusaders team, and speaking to her the other day, she was very excited to be on the team and especially to be riding here in Mexico as well.
Yeah, so based up in the States, so gets back here to Mexico. Now is just looking a lot more confident coming in here after that early blip on the course. Just a little touch there. And there we go. So it's going to be 8 to add to the score. 96.61 will be the final time for Tanimara Makari and Cordelia GPZ. But key bit is a decent finish. And so slots them into third of those so far of our group. Of course, we're already into our top 3 at the moment. John Perez leading 72.23 at this very early stage. Rodrigo Lamre and Miss Kidam PS. A 9-year-old, actually by Messenger. Where does the Kidam part come in? Well, actually, it's out of mare that was by Kidam de Revel, which was Romance de Pleville. Rodrigo Lamre, prolific winner. And again, with this 9-year-old here, this is a good opportunity to get this horse in the ring. I jumped here last week too, and also was coming through the classes. I think rode in the 3-star in San Miguel.
Yeah, did some various 2-star competitions in San Miguel, and he's now just stepping the horse up to the 5-star level. He's competed this horse quite lightly, so competed in 2020 and then getting things going again in 2022 around Mexico. But they've been in the top 10 3 times so far this year. Jumped well at San Miguel, also at Guadalajara and at Puebla. They were 8th in a 2-star Grand Prix there. That was back in March, just with 1 fence down.
Yeah, he gets up for the double to related line on the 5, similarly to that of John Perez. May not be too far off his time. Unfortunately, just gets in the wrong spot coming into the double there and pushes that one off. So 4 to add for them at the moment. Again, just goes a little bit wider back to this next vector vertical on course. Time, just looking to keep a balanced rhythm around here. Not going to shake up John Perez's time, but certainly not a bad round at all. Just with 4 to add there, takes them to 84.35, 80.35, the original time, 84.35. For Rodrigo Lamre there, and Mario Nates, Mesquidam PS.
I mean, there were quite a few places where John Perez really went for it, didn't he? You know, really had a couple of quite quick gallops, took a couple of strides out around the course, and so being more than 5 seconds faster than the time of Nicolas Pizarro shows you that's absolutely the time to beat.
Yeah, and then that's more Gigi Kama's natural pace as well, quite forward going. Very much drops into that kind of rhythm. Alberto Sanchez Cazar, Union de la Nutria, a 14-year-old horse now, not needing too much experience here. The French-bred horse by de Montesemi, Union de la Nutria for the next for Mexico. So could see this one take a spin at the time.
Yeah, Alberto's another very fast rider. Catova is the horse that we saw a little bit earlier on this week, and we've seen him have a good win with that horse in San Miguel as well. Going very, very well for him. But Union de la Nutria, now this more established horse. He's been in the top 10 9 times with this horse this year so far. And he's been competing this horse fairly recently in Quapex Pan before going to San Miguel. Had just 1 time penalty in a speed class there at 4-star level. He obviously likes to compete this horse in the speed classes, and that's where he seems to perform particularly well.
Yeah, good forward pace to this so far, and fairly economical line in the first few as well. This could give him a chance at this class. Get square, just a little touch on the back bar there, just trying to make sure they don't drift too far beyond. Good at the moment though. Time to beat 72.23.
Yeah, looking good.
Just got to be careful his final vertical. This could be a very different time, and he's going to leave it up. A flick of the back shoes there, and they still get over at 67.17. So a very different time there. There was a fast round to be had. John Perez, good to start off with, but did leave the door open with Gigi Kama. 67.17, a little faster around the track. There are maybe a few spots there to start pulling in the track a little to make it quicker. But there we go with Alberto Sanchez Cazar leading with Union de la Nutria. Take us on to Carlos Guerrero now of Mexico. Age 5, Just the Music, the 13-year-old by Tornado FCS. Don't think jumped this horse last week. Again, this might well be one of the aims at the Grand Prix this week. We will see.
Yeah, we didn't see this horse last week, but we've seen Carlos in various competitions already this week, getting all these horses a good spin around. But he did jump this horse in the Nations Cup final week at Barcelona. He jumped in the City of Barcelona Trophy. Competition run over 1.55 m fences and just had 1 fence down there to finish in 14th place. He also did well in a 4-star speed competition in Saint-Tropez very recently. That was back in September. Finished 6th there. And then he's been competing this horse around Europe primarily over the summer. He also took the horse to the likes of Dinard, also to Brussels, more competitions in Saint-Tropez as well. Jumped this horse in the World Cup at Lyon as well last October. So certainly a horse that has had plenty of experience. He's also had this horse for a 3rd place in a 5-star jump-off class at Spruce Meadows last year as well. Looking not overly quick round here though so far.
Yeah, just again a nice even pace around the course so far for Carlos on age 5. Just the Music, and say one that could well be aimed at the Grand Prix as well, but could pick up a little bit of prize money here. This class not the biggest prize money of the week, but does give an opportunity for quite a few of those horses to get in there. And if you want to take a spin at the run of the class, then please do. So, still looking very nice so far. I say it gives you a little bit of a preview of what to expect for our Grand Prix horses coming up as well, with a few of those, but just coming down here easily within their capability at the last fence there. 79.14, a little more steadily, but Carlos Guerrero there at age 5, Just the Music, getting the job done, and I would think we'll have an eye on Sunday with that pair. Natalie D now, Camilla D for the US, well, California rider. 11-year-olds for the Marigold Sport Horses by Kashmir van Schutenhof.
I think this might be another one aimed at the Grand Prix because I see that she's got Carmela Z on the list for the team competition at the moment. Of course, riding for Team Logano, who really could do with things turning around this year.
Well, yes, they've had one win behind them, but that has been the only bit of blue sky in there so far. So you never know. This could be the chance.
Again, she jumps this horse quite frequently in the winning round classes at the major league shows. She did very well in Traverse City in August in that competition with this horse, a 4th place finish. She also jumped this horse at Angelstone at our Toronto leg and jumped a double clear there as well. So I think it's quite interesting that this isn't the choice for the team since we're jumping indoors this week, and arguably Angelstone might possibly be the most similar in terms of arena size to jumping indoors here, but obviously the horse jumps well there, having jumped a double clear earlier in the year on that kind of surface.
Good efficient come round from the water and just leaves them too close to that vertical. Unfortunately, just trying to take that on the angle is going to put 4 to add to the score for Natalie. Just again forward coming through that double, so leaves them with 8 to add. Very good time. So that was 67.12, so it would have been the fastest time so far, but leaves them with 8 to add. So will of course increase the score there for Natalie Dean, going into 3rd place at this point on 75.12. Erin Ballard, Narcotique. Another horse that's been super for her so far this season, the 9-year-old. And for her, this one was top 3 in the Grand Prix at Angelstone. So certainly gained a lot in their 9th year by Harley VDL, owned by Alain Ferder. Dam line that goes back to Chaco Blue as well. So for Girona.
Yeah, she did really well at Angelstone for 3rd in the 5-star Grand Prix there. She has also jumped clear 75% of the time so far this year with this horse, and she's just been riding it since July. This horse was previously with Georgia Tame of Great Britain, and then prior to that was with well, has been competed by Sydney Schulman, who also competed this horse at Traverse City actually in the summer. So a couple of different riders this year.
And she's setting off with speed. That's probably one of the smartest, tidiest turns we've seen so far.
I think, as we often say, it's sometimes about the consistent pace and the consistent rhythm being kept up, and that's definitely what this pair have got here.
This is looking good so far. 67.17 to beat, so not going to get ahead of that, but still going to leave them probably in 2nd. Yes, they do. 2nd spot at 70.31. Erin Ballard and Narcotique. Good forward pace for them. Doesn't take much out of the tank for them either. Does it very easily. Really nicely ridden as ever by Erin into 2nd place so far. Alberto Sanchez Cozar keeps the lead at 67.17 at this point. Emma Marlowe, and often been her Grand Prix ride too, and its teams as well, is Cherokee for the Trelawney Farm, the 15-year-old by Cardento. Now again, Emma's been keeping the powder dry in the last week or so of the big classes, so may well come out here meaning business. Gets rider back to 2, so also going to set themselves up nicely, I would guess, for the weekend.
Could also be a choice for the team competition. She rode on the team in Vancouver and helped the Trailblazers to a 3rd place there. Emma also rode on the Eye Candy team last year. She also helped the Trailblazers to a 2nd place finish at Traverse City in September with this horse jumping clear.
Yeah, team-wise, not sure she's going to be on the squad this week. Just picked up the 4 so far. Got a very good string here of riders to go to. Again, it's all about mixing and matching. Everyone gets a shot at it. Back rail just on the 4 so far. Alberto will keep the lead. Just moves across to the right there, straightens things up, and there we go. Finishes off with 4 to add, 84.32. It is just on 4 to add into their time there for Emma Marlowe and Cherokee. Ignacio Morin and Aquarella B. Another 9-year-old here, Czech-bred horse, in fact, for the Argentinian rider. And, again, it's been going well in the lead-up in the last couple of weeks with, of course, Tommy and San Miguel there, Grand Prix winner in Guadalajara. Chance here maybe to lift a 5-star trophy. We'll see. Alberto Sanchez Cozar is setting the pace so far at 67.17. A couple have got close.
He jumped well with this horse last week, actually, as well. Had 3 top 10 finishes there, which was 3 out of 3, including a 3rd place in the 5-star 140 jump-off class. Also had a 2-star win at Guadalajara back in September, so very much a combination that's on form, despite they've been together since the early part of this year. And saying that the horse is Czech-bred, actually it was previously ridden by Jiří Hruška, who is a Czech rider who competed this horse around the Czech Republic and Austria and Poland up until the end of 2021.
Just coming home on the 4. 9-year-old here, good class for them to get experience in, and should leave them with a midway place, sitting on a time in the end of 76.84 with the 4 added in for Ignacio Morin and Aquarella B for the Argentinian. Puts him into 5th place at this point. Toro Parada after that top 3 finish in the Grand Prix here last week as well. Kidamo 10, 11-year-old Holstein by Kidam de Revel for Arturo from Mexico.
Arturo Parada ocupó el 3er lugar en el Gran Premio 5 Estrellas de la primera semana del concurso de La Silla 5 Estrellas.
Tomorrow, as I say, good run for him last week. Built a lot of experience, well, a lot of confidence for him. Gives the sponsors fence a little bit of one hesitant coming in there. We're in trouble. Yeah, that was coming before they got into that double, I'm afraid, and it was actually going back to the 2nd fence, really. Going to decide to jump a fence or a couple of fences to get them back going, or whether he's calling, I think he's calling it a day by the looks of it. So, yeah, retiring there, Arturo Parada and Kidamo 10. Still leaves Mexico at the top with Alberto Sanchez Cazar and Union de la Nutria.
The arena is number 15, Paul O'Shea from Ireland, with Chancellor.
Winner of the Grand Prix here last year, Paul O'Shea now, Chancelloress for the Trelawney Farm as well, the 13-year-old Hanoverian by Chaco Blue. And that was a really good kicking off point for them last season, second in the Grand Prix as well in San Miguel in the lead up to this. Came in on terrific form, has had a really good year since then, from Grand Prix wins in Spruce Meadows through to finishing well in Greenwich in the last few weeks as well. I would think this is probably going to be a quiet run as well before the Grand Prix. It was a similar sort of strategy for them last week. Had a nice run, go around this course to really just get a leg stretch and get some arena time before the Grand Prix on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm sure that will be the aim for this combination. Chancelloress has been a very consistent horse for Paul, one that he's ridden very, very well and really got a good partnership going with. As you say, second in the 5-star Grand Prix at San Miguel last year, and then won here as well. But yes, they actually were second with a double clear in a 2-star Grand Prix at Greenwich last month. Also were 4th in our Major League 5-star Grand Prix at Vancouver, just having one down in the jump-off. That was, of course, back in May. But they've also had wins in Wellington at 4-star and 5-star level. And Paul, a really key part of Team Eye Candy as well, very consistent competitor for them. Of course, he has another couple of horses here, the likes of Squirt Gun, who are likely to be his team horses. Chancelloress, very much one of his top horses, very top horse in his string that he aims at these Grand Prix, and does so very successfully. I think again the horse has got quite a good natural pace that's coming through here. Oh, bit of a stutter on the turn, but he's just making sure to have enough space, I think, for this final line. Yeah,
they'll just take them on a nice smooth tour of the arena, as I say, just to, when they go up a couple of holes at the weekend. And again, as I say, that's why he's not racing for time. They're 92.31. Eyes on the prize once again.
Paul O'Shea from Ireland with Chancellor, 92 seconds, 31.
So still leaving Alberto Sanchez Cazar and Union de la Nutria leading this point. Last week's Grand Prix winning combination, Lily Keenan and Queensland E, would love to double up on that, having claimed the big class here last Saturday. Of course, it'll be Sunday this week. We've spun it back around. Team class tomorrow will be at 6 o'clock local time for that, for the first team horses. And we will be indoors, because you're probably looking going, well, hang on a minute, the shadows are a little bit long already. What's going to go on? We're going indoors tomorrow. So that will be tight, fast and furious for the team competition. Looking forward to that. But Lily Keen and Queensland E, I would think, will be back on the grass here on Sunday.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating to see how that team competition plays out. It's completely different atmosphere and a completely different environment to what the teams have seen so far. Lily jumped Kado Minka last week, and that is who she has on the team roster at the moment for this week. And Queensland is the horse with whom she won the 5-star Grand Prix here last week. It was a very decisive victory, really good double clear. It was a tough course, and it caught out a lot of top riders. But Lily, of course, is a very top rider herself and has done extremely well in a range of 5-star Grand Prix all around the world, particularly in Europe over the summer, has been very successful.
Yeah, really nice looking combination. Well, so good last week at getting ahead. Of course, that was the battle with Eduardo de Menezes.
And nice for her to have a 5-star Grand Prix win, because, as I say, she's been on the podium several times already this year at competitions in Valkenswaard and Paris. She was also 8th in San Miguel as well, so really, really on form.
this looks to set them up really quite very much on course for Sunday. As I say, you can see time-wise they're going to be a little bit longer on the time. 80.22, and it is on to a final score there with nothing to add for Lily Keenan and Queensland.
80 seconds, 22 for Lily Keenan from USA.
So, Alberto Sanchez-Cazar keeping the lead so far. Erin Ballard in second. John Perez-Bog in third. Kyle King, 2 good weeks for him. Has won the jump-off classes, but again, this might well be his Grand Prix ride. Now, interestingly, didn't jump this in the Grand Prix last week, as I remember. Chess, jointly owned with a group of them. For the chess team, and it is an 11-year-old Belgian bred horse by Bufero van Heert Panashov. Horse that's been in recent years produced with Nick de la Joya as well. And well done to Nick. He won the Big Ben Championship up in Canada at Toronto last night as well. But also for Kyle, who claimed our big class here yesterday as well with Echelon.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row winning the opening 5-star jump-off class with Echelon. So very impressive, certainly a competition that suits that combination, but chess is one that they're really trying to form the partnership with this horse still. He's having a couple of fences down in some previous competitions, but so much potential. Competed by Nick de la Joya as well, who of course is part of that owning group. The horse has also been competed by Kent Farrington in the past. Nick de la Joya actually competed this horse on Team Crusaders in Vancouver at our first leg. But the horse has some good clear round rates. They're 33% of the time clear over fences of 155, 38% at 160. In terms of 5-star Grand Prix at the Major League legs, this horse has jumped at Traverse City both times out, in August and in September. Yes,
still looking good so far. Not going to catch our leading time, 67.17, but there we go. Nice round there for Kyle King and Chess. Will he extend his doubled up wins in the jump-offs this week to the Grand Prix come Sunday? We will see, but puts him there into 7th place overall for Kyle King and Chess. Alberto Sanchez-Cazar still leading 67.17. Erin Ballard in second at the moment, Narcotique and John Perez and Shishi Carmen in third. Jose Antonio Chedraui, H. Lucky Reto, a lot been talked about this horse as well. A 10-year-old for the Mexican rider, and now the Dutch bred horse by Bernini. It's a very lucky Reto. Again, there's several times now been Grand Prix ride for the family behind the Jalapa venue as well. Goes wide on the turn to this Aflux sponsored fence.
Yes, he competed this horse in our 5-star Grand Prix last week. One down and then some time penalties for them there. Also did well at Quapex Pan recently, and several of these riders have competed there before coming to the Major League show jumping legs. We also competed this horse quite extensively at Spruce Meadows over the summer months. For a good few top 10 finishes doing the 5 stars and 2 stars earlier on.
Yeah.
Actually jumped very well with this horse at San Miguel back in May as well for 5th in the 2-star Grand Prix there. And had 2-star wins at Mexico City earlier on in the year as well.
I think he might be saying he's done enough. And like I said, it could well be a Grand Prix combination. It's highly, highly likely to be, and I think that's the plan. So Jose Antonio Chedraui and H. Lucky Reto. side. They've done enough so far. Alberto Sanchez-Cazar will keep the lead easily at this stage with Union de la Nutria.
In the lead by more than 3 seconds, in fact.
Yeah. Erin Ballard in second, John Perez in third at the moment. Simon Nisri now and Ferrari VDL. That came from the Blue Gate Stables. The 12-year-old Dutch-bred gelding by Cardento for Simon. In fact, that looks like Nick Pizarro to me. Let's see.
Yes, definitely. Does look like Nick Pizarro.
In which case, he'd be on Conquer PS, which is an 8-year-old Oldenburg by Conthagos. Nicholas was already seen on Mike Wazowski, of course. There we go. Just confirm there. Again, good class to get this 8-year-old out onto this beautiful venue here in Monterrey.
Another competitor for the Crusaders, and again he was really commenting on the way that this is an absolutely beautiful venue and the footing is really perfect here and how exciting it is to be part of the team competition. Of course, he rode for the Atomi Warriors last year and then now on this all-new Crusaders team.
Yeah. Yeah, Nicholas, a good asset to any of those big teams. Of course, he's been a long-time asset for the Mexican squad. Just giving this 8-year-old a really confidence-building ride around here this afternoon. And there we go. It is round in 75.76, and Nick Pizarro, I think, will be happy enough with that one with Conquer PS. Alberto Sanchez-Cazar still leading at 67.17. Erin Ballard, Narcotique. John Perez of Colombia in third with Gigi Carmen. Fabian Sejanes now, and Temple, the 11-year-old Mexican-bred horse, for our next to go. In fact, Mexican-bred in the sense along the La Silla lines. Bred stud, of course, for this venue. Actually, La Silla stud about 45 minutes down the road, but of course all linked together. And Fabian now to take a run, maybe, we'll see. Alberto Sanchez's leading time of 67.17.
Again, this is a combination that we've seen in the 5-star classes earlier this week. Also saw them in the 5 stars last week, riding pretty consistently. Not necessarily any podium finishes not a podium finish in the Grand Prix, but certainly was very promising performance. And once again, I'm sure that this is a combination that will be aiming for the Grand Prix. Just stepping the horse more consistently up to the 5-star level. He's been jumping very well at 4 stars so far this year. Fabian, of course, one of the riders who we have here who went to the World Championships in the summer.
Yep.
Good list of those World Championship riders here.
Exactly, very good lineup here in Monterrey here this week. As we saw how strong it was through the Grand Prix last week. Whoop. Yeah, a little bit of balance there coming down that line.
Had a couple of similar moments around this course, actually. I was just fighting him a little bit.
Yeah, drops a rail there, and there we go. Just going to be 8 to add for them. 71 was there about? Yeah, 71.16. 8 to add will take them to 79.16 as a final time for Fabian Sahanis there. And Temple. Warm afternoon here. It's going to be temperatures dropping down, I gather, over the weekend.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to drop quite considerably, and especially jumping at 6 p.m. I'm sure that will make quite a difference as well.
Well, we'll be relaxed, we'll be fired up, lots of fun going on, so that'll keep us all warm from that point of view. But as I say, up in the high 80s today, but it's just now cooled off nice. It's actually not a bad temperature to be going through this route now. It is Jacob Pope in Cento SA. Ash Atkinson, the owner, and the 9-year-old Dutch-bred horse by Cardento that's been coming along nicely under the guidance of the Ivan Rakowski team. We will see how Jacob handles this. Gone very well, of course, with Highway FBH as well.
Yes, very exciting combination, who we saw jumping really well in the 5-star competitions at both San Miguel and in Monterey as well. In fact, last week, at our first trip here to Monterey, they did really well in the 140 and 145 classes, being placed 4th in the 140, 8th in the 145 with 3 clear rounds across those 2 classes. Also competed in the 5-star Grand Prix. Just had a couple of unlucky fences there, but there was a lot to like, and I'm sure we'll see them aiming for that Grand Prix again. I mean, actually, that's the only time that the horse has dropped more than 1 pole in 5-star competition, and it's still a pretty new partnership. They were doing the 2 and 3 stars in Traverse City in the summer, so really stepped up to the level very well.
Yeah, it just gets low at that style, I'm afraid, has that down. Otherwise, look really impressive through the previous few fences. Now Jacob just getting the balance back for them. Just on the 4 at the moment, 4 to add. As I say, it's their first season. Has stepped up well, and it's been a big move up for this horse throughout the year. And has been answering the questions. Very capable hands as well. It's nice to see Jacob moving into the high flight of, I was going to say high flight, but unfortunately just doesn't work out the last. I can tell you both okay by the looks of it, but unfortunately just not working out at the last fence there for them. Also all right, Jacob just grabbing his breath.
That was really unfortunate. It was a lovely round up to that point.
Checking him out, but Jacob says, I'm okay, but I'll take a little. I'm all right. I can walk out of there. I think just maybe just got a little step on there. He's walking it off.
Possibly a little bit winded as well from the way that he was just catching his breath.
Yeah. Going to be okay. Horse okay. Just didn't work out down that final line, I'm afraid. And but both will be back to fight for another day. Let's remind you, Alberto Sanchez Cozar leading at the moment, you can see from your graphic. Union de la Nutrition 67-17 at this stage. Aaron Ballard second, John Perez in third. Carlos Guerrero now. H5 Nostalgie. Second ride for Carlos in this class. A couple of those riders with second shots at this. Another 9-year-old here actually goes back to the breeding of Emerald, and those that follow the line of Emerald can probably very obviously see his stamp on this horse as well. Now for the accomplished 22-year-old rider. Part of the H5 team, including alongside not only his family, but also with Enrique Gonzalez and Eduardo de Menezes.
Yes, and Eduardo's competed this horse as well earlier in the year, January to April, May sort of time with Eduardo, and then Carlos now taking over the reins. He's jumped the horse in Europe actually this year so far, across Belgium and the Netherlands and France. Done some of the under 25 classes there, and did well in the 5 stars in Saint-Tropez as well. Just a couple of fences down and then just 1 fence down in another 5 star there.
And just going to get, I'm thinking about to get him underway. Seen him on, of course, Just the Music.
Yeah, we've got a few riders here with a couple of rides in this class.
Yeah, starts to get the forward shot. That means he'll get the 5 down that line.
Yeah, and that's what our faster times have done already, isn't it? So he's definitely got an eye on a spot near the top of this class if he can.
And again, it's a good opportunity in this class as well, you know, to get the horses used to going out. They're going to be going at jump-offs. They're going to be going at bigger speed classes throughout their career. It's a great opportunity to get there with a bit of live competition. Just leans onto that vertical, so that's going to add 4 to the score. Time-wise, not completely at the races with the leading time, but again, we'll put a good round behind them to finish off. Nice pace down to the last, and leaves them 4 to add onto a final time of 81.22 for Carlos Ancarero. And H5 Nostalgie for the H5 Sport horses, for the 9-year-old there. Bugatti for Eduardo Leon, who's also here watching. The 16-year-old gelding by Heartbreaker, that is a prolific winner of classes. Alberto Michat in the saddle, as he has been for the last few months, for the Israeli rider, also on the Roadrunners team. And Alberto, I would not be surprised to see have a run at this. This is the sort of class they're made for.
Yes, absolutely. They've really got the speed, and he does particularly well in these sorts of classes, as we've seen at several of our Major League legs already this year. Had a good win at San Miguel. He's often on the podium in the speed classes as well. He was 3rd in the 5-star speed class at Traverse City in September. Also jumped very well at Traverse City in August.
Ooh, no, ooh, it stayed.
I think it did.
It stayed.
Was very
I
lucky.
can see it from here. It stayed. Ooh, chases down there.
Oh, I think he lost a shoe. Or lost a
something.
Something might have been an overreach boot. Yeah.
Well, might make them lighter. Shoe, it makes life a little bit tougher.
Just as the horse comes around the corner, it did look like it might have been a shoe. He jumped well in Ottawa as well with this horse, actually, as well. Did very well in the opening 5-star 2-phase class.
Ooh, chasing down there. Is it going to make enough of a difference? 67.17 time to beat. It is not going to be far away. It is going to be very close between them. 66.20, so takes the second off. Alberto Michat and Bugatti. An early little bounce of a back rail, but it stayed in there. Take your luck, take your potential win. And Alberto Michan Bugatti now power on in front at 66-0.
We thought he might have a good run at that, and
yeah, there you go.
Did.
Yeah. So on from there, it is Alberto Michan now leading, Alberto Sanchez Cazar in second, Alberto and Alberto, and Erin in third place at the moment. Where are we heading now? Miguel Angel Torres and Eldor Blue. 10-year-old by El Dorado from a mare line of Chaco Blue, hence the combination. Some of the names take some working out. Some of them are fairly obvious once you look at a piece of paper.
Yeah, we quite often see the breeding names impacting the final names of these horses. This pair jumped well last week as well, jumping in the 5-star competitions. Had a clear for a 14th place finish in in the same sort of class, 145 speed class. But again, another combination who've competed around Mexico recently at Quapexpan, that 4-star show, and Guadalajara as well for a good few weeks in the 2 stars. Actually jumped in the 5-star competitions here at the Major League Show last year as well, but not quite going so well this year.
Just has that stop. Whether he's going to come back round, I am not so sure. No, that's not going to go today. It is unfortunately going to be elimination there for Miguel Angel Torres and Eldor Blue. Takes a look down into the water tray, but it's going to be the end of their round. Sadly, Alberto Michan keeping the lead with Bugatti on 66-0. Alberto Sanchez Cazar in second, and Erin Ballard in third. Takes us 6, I think, left to go. Juan Ortiz, Kinky Boy. It's the 12-year-old Belgian-bred horse by Nabab de Rev.
Yes, this is the one that we've seen quite extensively so far this year in the 5-star competitions, and they're often there or thereabouts. They often just have one fence down or a couple of fences down. Just had a couple down for 15th in the 5-star Grand Prix at Traverse City back in September. And Juan's got a really good string of horses here. This one, of course, owned by Blue Trim LLC and Juan himself. But it's certainly a horse that needs very careful riding, and it's a task that Juan is, of course, more than equipped to do, but it's a very large horse, and he's just got to manage the way that he gets these distances and try to get some tighter turns on this horse. Unfortunately, just gets a little bit flat down to the upright there.
Yeah, sensibly came down the line. That was 6 or 5 on the 5 strides there, very neatly enough, but yeah, it just progressed down to the skinny there to just have that down, I'm afraid. But otherwise, it's a big jumping ride.
But I mean, great ground cover for an arena like this. It's just the sort of arena that's ideal for this combination, and I'm sure that this will be a good preparation for them for the Grand Prix as well.
Coming home on the 4 to add, and that will be 79.22 as a translated time in the end. So just with the 4 there for Juan Ortiz and Kinky Boy for the rider for Venezuela. Should leave us with, I think, 5 left on the order. Juan Jose Zendias Salgado, and Just Nice. That's it, it's easy, just nice. The 13-year-old Belgian bred horse by Deauville van der Levy. coming on out of a mare line that was by Toulon. Just nicely in the lead so far is Alberto Michin and Bugatti at the moment. About 5 challengers left to depose him. We will see for the next of our Mexican riders who went very well in Calgary and in Mexico City so far this year.
Yes, absolutely. They've had some really good results at those kinds of shows. They actually did well here in at this very venue last year as well. 3rd in the 2-star Grand Prix. They jumped in the 2 stars here last week as well. So, but at Spruce Meadows they were going very well in the 5 stars. So interesting that they were doing the 2 stars last week. Now stepping up though to 5-star in this arena. Plenty of opportunity to get used to the ring. He had a win at Quapex Pan in March as well with this horse in a 2-phase competition.
Yeah, hangs the back end over that Oxer, I'm afraid, so that's going to add 4 to the score. Now just getting more into the pace that they want. A similar result there, I'm afraid. Finish on a high note. That's better. Now, similar shot here through the double. There we go. And coming home on the 8. Bit of a blip in the middle, but puts the ship right, and it will be 8 to add at 38.51 for Juan Jose Sendiz Delgado, and just nice. I think we're going to see one that we were expecting to see a little bit earlier. It's going to be Simon Nisri.
Looks very much like it.
And Ferrari VDL. So that will leave us 5 more to come. Simon having moved down the order. 12-year-old by Cardenso. They probably lost a shoe, but off and going again. Alberto Michin, Alberto Sanchez-Cozart and Erin Ballard still remaining top 3. So we've still got Lily Keenan, Ana Sofia Legorreta Hernandez, Eduardo Jimenez and Charlie de Jong to go is our final group just yet. So this is going to be the first of 5 in this Afflux Growth sponsor class.
It's a horse that Simon's had since September. This is the one that was developed and competed up to 5-star level by Zoe Osterhoff, who jumped this horse to lots of top-level 5-star competitions all around Europe last year, often in the top 10.
Nice pacey run down there, being careful at the style as he should be. Just a little bit further there, you know, our leading time would be a little bit tighter up to that. We'll see though. Again, giving space coming in. Water Tray underneath that can just catch the eye there at the Major League double.
Yeah, and again at this time of year we've got the shadows lengthening over the arena. At this time of year, at this time of day, we've got the shadows lengthening.
Well, time of year and time of day.
Time of year.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the seasons change as well. Days change, seasons change. We all get older by the second.
But it's just something else for them to have a look at in this arena, and just makes quite a difference as they're going from those fences that are in the shade created by the VIP to these ones that are more directly in the sun.
Leaves them at a time of 80.21, so nothing to add there for Simon Nisri and Ferrari VDL. Doesn't trouble the leading time of 66.20, but gets them round on a good clear. Got some pace early on and then just stayed around for the second half of the course. I think we might be going past Lily Keenan onto Ana Sofia. Yes, we are. Ana Sofia Legorreta and Yoga Santa Rosa, also owned by Patricio Pascal, the 10-year-old mare that goes next for the Next for Mexico. So that would leave us 3 left to come, by my reckoning, what we've got in front of us. Now, interesting, yeah, there we go, a little bit sideways and then get going, and sometimes that means we're revving up the engine fast. It's one that's a little firecracker. We will see what we have here.
Yeah, owned by Patricio Pascal, and he actually competed this horse on the Crusaders team last year to a win for the team in San Miguel.
Fast start. Oh, and takes a long run at that. Escapes at the second, but was not going to make it down that line, I'm afraid. Yeah, hand's already gone up to retire for Ana Sofia. Just tried to come at it very quickly, but it was getting a bit of a scramble coming down that line in the end, I'm afraid. So that is the end of their round for Ana Sofia. Eduardo de Menezes will be along in just a moment and should leave us with Tali de Jong after that. So we've got one for Brazil and one for the USA yet in this Afflux growth class.
It will be quite a different feeling tomorrow entirely, because we've had all of our competitions last week in this lovely arena, and we've had the changing light be a bit of a factor on a lot of these competitions, but certainly won't be an issue, or certainly won't be a factor for the team competition tomorrow.
Eduardo de Menezes and H Big Action for the E2 stables, and Yves horses, the 10-year-old stallion by Action Breaker. So a line that goes back in his horse's breeding to Big Star as well. So it's certainly bred for some big jumping.
Bred for big jumping, and proved that last week as well. This was the horse that he rode to second place in the 5-star Grand Prix last week. Just one fence down in the jump off. Yeah, just getting into it there and just pulled one off. It was a faster time, but the key is get home with the double clear, and that was what won it. With that Lily Keenan and Queensland E. See, maybe on your screen, a little bit of fluttering around. It is butterflies around the arena. It is a stunning spot to be in here in Monterey. The shadows lengthening, the butterflies are out in force at the moment. Of course, it adds to the colour. Yes, really, really stunning setting. Nice for this combination to be spending a couple of weeks here in Monterey. They've been quite busy over the past few weeks, jumping in Helsinki and in Oslo, and then also in Barcelona at the Nations Cup final show as well. Jumping in Saint-Tropez in September as well. Actually had a really good 7th place in a speed class at 5-star level in Helsinki last month. They've certainly been getting the miles on the clock.
And a very, very different arena to jumping in here in Helsinki onto what's normally a skating rink.
Yes.
You know, that gets melted down and in goes the arena. So size-wise, a very different prospect here. But as you say, went very well here last week in the very capable hands of Eduardo. He picked up very good prize money for finishing in 2nd place there. But somebody has to go to the top. But Lily Keenan got the job done. Whether Eduardo will play as big a part this week, we will see. But I would put him pretty short-priced to be in that Grand Prix this week as well.
Again, it looks like he's just taking quite a relatively steady spin round here in preparation for the Grand Prix, potentially.
Yeah. There we go. It is going to be 83.55 going clear there for Eduardo de Menezes. But mark your card for that one for one of the favourites potentially for the Grand Prix here on Sunday, H Big Action. We are going to see Lily Keenan. There she is. There's a little bit of moving around in the last few for whatever reason. Not quite sure whether shoes, whatever else is happening out the back. But Lily Keenan, Argan de Belliard. Not the horse she rode to win the Grand Prix here last week, but she may well ride this one in the Grand Prix. We will see. She rode Queensland E a little bit earlier, so she's got a few options to play with here. A World Championship horse owned by the home farm of the Chazanet farm. The 12-year-old by Milord Cartago.
Yeah, fantastic for Lily to have a couple of options, as you say, for the very top level, and Argan de Belliard may well be her most experienced horse. I guess the horse that she rode to the World Championships in Herning. Was previously with Luis Sabino Goncalves of Portugal. She's jumped 2 Nations Cups with this horse as well.
Yeah, went very well in the early part of the year, and again that puts them on to the radar as it was for World Championships. And a good appearance down in Wellington, Florida, which is always an interesting one back into March, as it starts off a big championship year and usually gets a pretty strong field for that one.
She did well with this horse in Rome in September as well in the 5-star Grand Prix. Picking up 5 penalties there. It rarely drops more than 1 fence with this horse, often jumps clear. Generally clear about 60% of the time. Another rider on the Trailblazers team who really helped them to a fantastic performance last week, helped them to 2nd place, and it was...
Yeah. Oh, she had a really good week.
Yes,
overall,
fantastic.
with a team finish to follow on the Sunday. Argan de Belliard, as you say, has been used to jumping big levels. Jumped out in California with Luis Sabino and then really caught the eye, and then moving to Lily's stable. She's been competing over in Europe as well. Rail down there for them. As I say, I'm not sure which, not having spoken to her, which direction she's going to go with the Grand Prix yet this week.
A bit lovely for her to have the option.
Yeah.
Of a couple of horses.
So that for the last, and there we'll go with just the 4 to add. Longer time at 89.88. With the 4 added in there for US rider Lily Keenan, Argan de Belliard, and I think she might be on team duty again tomorrow as well, with the Trailblazers, of course.
Yeah, it looks like she's on the squad there. It was a pretty successful combination that they had last week. Lily and Darren Kenny going in the 2nd round to get them through to the gold medal jump-off. And, of course, achieving that, so then they got the silver spot in the end.
It looks a pretty strong squad if they go with what's been early indicated for the team for the Trailblazers tomorrow as well. That's going to be very interesting indeed. For those that haven't followed the social media, Team Helios, that won 5 times so far, are going first tomorrow, and they tell me that was their plan.
Yeah, well, I think they
very much told me they're sticking to that. It was their plan, because we had a draw last night and they fudged up the last bit of it, but they say it was deliberate. But actually they do want to go first. They think it's a good strategy for them to go first tomorrow. So okay, we will see how that plays out.
I think I've heard their riders say in the past that they like to be first in everything, so to go first as well, you know, is just keeping up that pattern.
Yeah, exactly. Well, again, it's a different strategy, because it's the thought, well, you can go early, put pressure on the rest. So actually, rather than chasing, saying chase me.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can force the others into a few errors. So there's a couple of different ways of looking at it. Tully de Jong and Valiant de Bellevue, the 13-year-olds for the American rider. It's a nice forward shot down that line. making a good, confident run by them so far. Had a couple of up and down results here in the last week or so, but that was not much of one, but down it comes.
Yeah, she was a rider on the Crusaders team as well last week. And I'm sure the Crusaders, you know, it's a really crucial part of the season, this, and I'm sure that the Crusaders will be looking for a little bit of a higher placing than they achieved last week, because it's quite tight in terms of the points, and a good result could really shake things up still.
Well, and that's the thing. The other teams are also conscious of Helios if they get too far ahead of just how hard it is going to be to catch them, because they're 16 points ahead of the rest of the field at the moment. So anyway, on the 8 there, 75.59. It's 8 seconds to add for Tali de Jong, who will be on the Crusaders team here tomorrow. With Valentin. Also not too far away. Second this time with Union de la Nutria. Third to Erin Ballard and Narcotique to complete the top 3. So it's Israel, Mexico, Canada. Colombia in 4th place with John Perez and Gigi Carmen. 5th place to Logano Diamonds rider, US rider, Natalie Dean and Camilla D. 6th place to Nicholas Bizarre of Mexico, Conquer PS, just an 8-year-old there, into 6th spot. 7th place to Ignacio Morin and Aquarella B, another young horse coming through, and 8th place to Nicholas Bizarre again, with the very fine looking Mike Wazowski. So that's our top 8 from the class here today. As I say, we're back tomorrow. There will be the 2-star classes during the day, but mainly we're going to concentrate on the evening. 6 o'clock for the first under lights, undercover, and hopefully a few will be under pressure as well, so look forward to that. So that's going to be tomorrow. Sunday we're back into the afternoon with the Grand Prix out on the grass as well, so it's going to be a little bit of a change around. We're giving you different scenes, different spots, different ways, and could it be a different result? We've had 5 wins so far for Team Helios this season. Will it be again? Will it be as decisive? Who knows? Only one point to find out. Come and join us tomorrow. But for now, it's Alberto Michan who remains dominant here with a win with Bugatti.
Tiempo 66 segundos 20 centésimas. Segundo lugar para México, Alberto Sánchez Cosares, Unión de la Nutria, 67 segundos 17 centésimas. Tercer lugar, Erin Ballard de Canadá, en Narcotic Van Biffenstrom, 70 segundos 31 centésimas. Cuarto lugar para John Pérez de Colombia en Gigi Carmen, 72 segundos 23 centésimas. Quinto lugar para Natalie Dean de los Estados Unidos en Camila D, tiempo 75 segundos 12 centésimas. Invitamos a los 5 binomios mencionados a acercarse a la pista 1 para participar en la ceremonia de premiación de esta prueba AFLUX. Sexto lugar para Nicolás Pizarro Suárez y Conquer PS de México. Séptimo lugar para Ignacio Maurín de Argentina en Acuarela B. Octavo lugar para Nicolás Pizarro Suárez y Mike Wazowski de México. Noveno lugar para Kyle King de los Estados Unidos, Chess. Décimo lugar para Carlos Hank y H5 Just the Music de México. Undécimo lugar para Fabián Sejanes y Temu de Argentina. Y 12º lugar para Juan Ortiz de Venezuela en Kiki Boy Van Beautiful.
No, regreso, lo puedes reiniciar.
Dame. Pásalo, Checo.
Sí, güey.
Pasa por ahí otra.
Aquí está, güey.
Déjame checar ahorita te va.
Agradecemos a la señora Lizeth Valdés y al señor Eduardo León por acompañarnos en esta ceremonia de premiación que tendrá lugar en breves momentos. Premiación de la prueba APLUS al metro 45, tabla C. Bienvenidos al concurso de salto internacional La Silla GNP Seguros, noviembre 2022. Let's Be Legends. Agradecemos especialmente a nuestros patrocinadores: GNP Seguros, Banor, Palacio de Hierro, Tane, Vector Casa de Bolsa, Major League, Live Aqua, Aflux Road. Este evento es patrocinado por Expansión, London Consulting Group, Stella Artois, AT&T, Lincoln, Foster Media, Christus Muguerza Hospital Sur. Agradecemos la colaboración de Multimedia, Purita, 4 Modulares, Campo Frío, Toilet, AR Multiservicio.
Ceremonia de premiación de la prueba Aflux. Club Hípico La Silla, prueba al metro 45. Quinto lugar, fifth place for Natalie Dean from USA with Camila D. Cuarto puesto para John Pérez de Colombia. Tercer lugar para Erin Ballard de Canadá. Third place for Erin Ballard from Canada. Segundo lugar en esta prueba para Alberto Sánchez Cosar de México y Unión de la Nutria. Y el primer lugar en esta prueba al metro 45 tabla C, Alberto Michan de Israel en Bugatti. Invitamos a la distinguida concurrencia a ponerse de pie para el himno de Israel. Invitamos a Alberto Michan a encabezar la tradicional Vuelta de la Victoria. Fuertes los aplausos para Alberto Avi Michan y Bugatti. Alberto Sánchez Cosar y Unión de la Nutria. Erin Ballard y Narcotic Van Dijenshoff. John Pérez Bond de Colombia y Gigi Carmen. Natalie Dean from USA with Camila D. Alberto, te pedimos una vuelta completa como ganador de esta prueba. Aflux al metro 45, tabla C. Fuerte los aplausos para Alberto, Avi Michan y Bugatti.
We have a new leader